Welcome to The Explainer. Let's jump right in because today we're looking at this absolutely beautiful, timeless message. We're diving into a sacred Hukamnama, which translates to divine command from the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, specifically focusing on the writings of Bhagat Kabir Ji. Now, if you are a young professional right now and you're feeling the heavy weight of the modern hustle, juggling those intense career expectations, personal goals, and that creeping, undeniable sense of burnout, this explainer is literally made for you. We're going to explore how this centuries-old spiritual wisdom offers a real blueprint for finding inner peace right in the middle of all our modern chaos. It's a massive shift in perspective that, frankly, takes us off the hamster wheel and puts us firmly back in the driver's seat.
And this brings us to our hook. The world is a game, O Kabir, so throw the dice consciously. This quote brilliantly frames the entire human experience. Notice how Bhagat Kabir Jee doesn't describe life as this heavy, unbearable burden or some miserable test. No, he calls it a game. And what do we do with games? Well, we play them. But the absolute key here is that second part. Throw the dice consciously. That implies strategy. It implies awareness and intention. We're being invited to participate in our daily lives not as passive victims just reacting to whatever happens, but as conscious players making deliberate, thoughtful moves. Section 1. Protected from the start.
To really grasp how to play this game, we kind of have to look back at our origin story. Bhagat Kabir Jee reminds us that from the very beginning, way before we could achieve anything, before we could network, before we could hustle for a paycheck, we were completely protected and cared for. From conception, created from a single drop, through those 10 months of being preserved in the womb, right up to the moment we're born. Think about it. We did absolutely nothing to earn that initial survival. It was just freely given. We were nurtured by a system entirely outside of our control. Grounding ourselves in the actual text, we see this exact sentiment perfectly laid out. The Lord created the body from sperm and protected it in the fire pit. For 10 months, he preserved you in your mother's womb. This verse is just a beautiful reminder that divine support has been with us since before we even took our first breath. The fire pit metaphor used here really highlights the delicate, almost miraculous nature of life forming. It's such a powerful anchor for anyone feeling overwhelmed today. The universe has been sustaining you long, long before your career or your current anxieties even existed. Section 2. The trap of Maya. So, we go from that ultimate state of protection right into the chaotic middle of our lives. The text seamlessly continues, and then, after you were born, you became attached to Maya. Right after birth, the Hukamnama tells us we get attached to this force. And it pulls us away from that initial state of calm, trust, and divine protection, dropping us straight into the illusion of control and material desire. The second we hit the ground, the world starts shouting at us about what we need to do to be happy. And the crazy part is, we start believing it. Now, Maya isn't just some abstract theological term for scholars. It is incredibly relevant to your Tuesday morning commute. Maya is the illusion of worldly attachments. It's this false belief that material wealth, status, or landing a specific job title is going to bring you ultimate peace. In our modern context, Maya is the endless rat race. It's the belief that if you just get that next promotion, or buy the bigger house, or hit a certain number in your bank account, then, finally, you'll be able to exhale and be happy. But it's an illusion, right? Because the goalpost just keeps moving. And this gives us a daily choice. On one hand, we've got chasing Maya, endlessly pursuing status, working crazy late at the expense of your actual well-being, and prioritizing wealth over genuine relationships. It is just exhausting. On the other hand, we have what the text encourages, which is planting seeds. This means acts of kindness, holding on to your integrity even when it's super hard, and actually making time for spiritual reflection and real human connection. The explainer is fundamentally asking us, where are we putting our energy every single day? Bhagat Kabir Jee poses this piercing question. Why have you attached yourself to greed and lost the jewel of life? He's stepping in like a really compassionate mentor here, basically asking us to pause and reflect. Think about this jewel of life. Your health, your peace of mind, your time with loved ones, your inner joy. Are you actively trading that priceless jewel for the temporary thrill of a salary bump or the approval of strangers? It's a stark, necessary reminder of what we might be sacrificing for the daily hustle. Section 3. The clock is ticking. So if Maya is the distraction, time is the ultimate boundary of the game. The text points out the completely unavoidable truth of our life cycle. From an infant, you have grown old. That which was to happen has happened. Time just keeps moving forward, whether we're mindful of it or not. The infant that was so carefully protected in the womb eventually ages. It's a natural law. There's zero escaping this progression, which means every day spent lost in the stress and anxiety of Maya is a day of this precious human experience gone forever. Look at this incredibly powerful contrast. You hope for long life while death counts your breaths. We endlessly map out our 5-year career trajectories, our retirement portfolios, the vacations we're going to take someday. We completely operate on the assumption of abundant time. But the spiritual reality? Our time is actually limited, finite, and carefully measured, literally, breath by breath. Now, this isn't meant to be morbid or depressing, not at all. It's meant to clarify our priorities right now, today.
The imagery here is just so intense and potent. When the messenger of death comes and grabs you by your hair, why do you cry out then? It's a stark, poetic wake-up call. Bhagat Kabir Ji is urging us, please don't wait until the very end of the line when time is completely up to realize you spent your finite life chasing all the wrong things. If you spend decades ignoring your spiritual well-being for material gain, the end of the game is naturally going to be filled with regret. The time to wake up is right now.
Section 4. Throw the dice consciously. Okay, so knowing that we were protected from the start and knowing that our time is short, how do we actually proceed? Well, you absolutely still get to play the game of life. You still get to have a career and relationships and big goals, but you can choose to make your moves with spiritual intention instead of just being dragged along. First, make mindful career choices. Ask yourself, does this job align with my values or just my ego? Second, prioritize inner peace over external validation. We have to stop needing everyone to applaud our hustle. Third, recognize the temporary nature of the game. Win or lose a specific battle at work, it's all temporary. And finally, act with intentional spiritual awareness. Bring kindness, honesty, and real presence to your daily tasks. You're throwing the dice for sure, but you're doing it wide awake. I'm going to leave you with this final thought to reflect on as we wrap up this explainer. If life is just a game, this temporary, fleeting experience where you're ultimately supported by the divine, but constantly challenged by the illusions of the world, what move will you make today? Knowing how fast that clock is ticking, how will you consciously choose to play your game the minute this finishes? Thank you so much for exploring this profound wisdom with me. Stay mindful and throw your dice consciously.